Today we're going to replace the impeller on my 30 horsepower Mercury Tohatsu. It's a 2015. I've never done it and it's never been done, which is bad on my part. This is a thing that should be replaced on a routine basis no matter what the number of hours you got, because the rubber in the impeller does degrade over time no matter what. Alright guys, this linkage right here connects the shifting up there to the actual lower unit down here, where basically it's like a transmission. Real simple stuff. But this is it's like a compression sleeve in here, and it's basically, I can see it's rusted where it is, so it's a pretty poor part by my standards for a top-notch outboard from Mercury Tohatsu, in that they use the wrong kind of metal on it. This is stainless right here, and it looks like steel, not stainless or brass in here, and it is rusted in there. So we're using blaster, and we're going to try with the blaster to start getting this loose, because that's one of the things that freaked me out when I was watching the video online, is how this guy abused this little part right here. This has got to come loose before we can take the lower unit off and start the replacement process of the impeller. Make sure that you spray it down on both sides. That little fitting goes, that little sleeve thing goes all the way through. So you've got to hit it with your blaster on both sides. Alright guys, we'll let that sit overnight and we'll start this job tomorrow. Today we're going to replace the impeller on my 30 horsepower Mercury Tohatsu. It's a 2015. I've never done it and it's never been done, which is bad on my part. This is a thing that should be replaced on a routine basis no matter what the number of hours you got, because the rubber in the impeller does degrade over time no matter what. Why do you need to replace an impeller? Well, here in Texas we run super skinny. You can see I've got my shaw wing right here. And I also run shallow, not only on the coast whenever I can get to the coast, but I run shallow here in North Texas in sandy, like it's muddy sand stuff. The screens on this, on the intakes, will let some of that get by. When that gets by and into the impeller, it starts to wear it down. I've never done this before. I'm referencing 2 videos, which is very scary. I'm sure that the mechanics out there are going, I'll see you at my shop. But I'm going to try it, and you get to see it for better or for worse. Here's how it works. 2 bolts right here, 1 right up here. A linkage, and this is why I decided to do this video, a linkage right over here that has to come out, and that linkage is the video that I referenced, very problematic the way he took that out, and that's what inspired me to do this video. There are 3 main differences I'm going to employ in doing my video than the videos you see down below. So here we go. I'm going to show you, let me just show you kind of the 3 differences, and I'll detail those as we go along. Torque wrench, number 1. I'm going to use a torque wrench on a certain part of the process. Number 2, palm nailer. You'll see how I use that. And number 3, this is pure logic, people. This is pure logic. Tef-Gel. If you aren't familiar, I've got a video out on Tef-Gel. This stuff is really, really important for any person who wants their bolts and nuts to come loose. And I will detail that as well. Tef-Gel. All these things are down in the description if you want a link. I don't remember where I got the torque wrench, but you'll see how I use it. Let's start on this job. Oh, of course, before we start, you need to get the part, right? This is the part right here. And I'll show you, I'll lay it on the deck and show you what all comes in this little box. But you can get this replacement part from the link down in my description for the 2015, probably a couple years before and after, I don't know. Tohatsu Mercury 30 horsepower. Now, the part numbers change. Sometimes in the same year, the same part will change the numbers. People that do boat motors in the factories and companies, it's pretty complex as far as part numbers and year, and even within months of some changeovers that they do. They change part numbers, so it may not be as bad as it used to be about part numbers, but part numbers are critical, okay? So you got to have you one of these before you get started. Let me get up on deck and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright guys, so here are the parts. This is the actual box. Let's get a look at the parts that are in here. Shouldn't be overwhelming at all. Should be pretty simple stuff. There we go. There's the cup. There's the actual, this is what an impeller actually looks like right here. And here are your gaskets. And believe me, all you do is sandwich these gaskets properly into each other. Like this, right here. And you can tell these gaskets are made for multiple applications just by the way the holes are cut on here. But that's the way it's going to go, according to what I've seen. This is your locking nut, I forgot what they call these, but anyway, you'll see it in there. And we're going to get this all going. There it is. That is the kit. And that is the number right there. So just like in this other gentleman's video, thank you sir for making that video. We want to make sure that we keep our linkage set at where it was. As long as your linkage is working right, that's what shifts the lower unit. We want to make sure that we keep that set at the same place. And here's how he did it, and here's the same way I'm going to do it. See, the screw threads are right here, so that's where the adjustment will be made once you take that pin off. We're not going to make any adjustments today, people. We're going to make sure that when this comes out, it does not rotate. And this is how it's done. Like that right there. Alright, that is set. Drink it Dr. Pepper, and we will continue. Alright guys, this is where things get a little dicey. I've never used one of these palm nailers before, but I saw this used to take this pin out, and that's the second video that showed you how to take that compression pin, compression sleeve, whatever you want to call it, out of whatever it's compressed into. So that's what we're up to now. Say a little prayer. Let's hope that I don't just destroy something completely. Let's see if we can make this work. Now, what this guy showed in his video was that that pin can come flying out. So what you want to do is you want to have something on the ground here so you can find the pin. If you have like gravel like I've got right here, you're going to want something that will reach out and hold this. I don't know how this thing works. Let's see if it works at all. Get the right diameter here, and I assume that when you touch it, it goes off. It went off, and this flew back. The pin is completely gone and disappeared. So I got a real problem. I got to get a magnet out here now and try to find that pin. It flew out. But you see how much easier that is than what that other video showed you, beating on it with a hammer and with wrenches and everything else. Trajectory tells me that pin is over there against the wall somewhere, so I've got to go look for it. Oh man, what a drag. It worked. Okay guys, I had to go all CSI on this. I ran a piece of fly tying thread through here to get the trajectory of where it went. It flew about 10 feet and hit the wall over there, 10 feet away. Missed the camera for some strange reason, but I found it. I can't believe I found it. Here's what it looks like. This little compression sleeve. This is what this is what flew out with one tap of the palm nailer, and I found it. So we're still on our way. Scared the shite out of me that I thought I'd lost this little thing. All right, let's keep going. We're just getting started. Okay, after the drama and trauma of finding that pin, let's start removing these bolts. And here's another way that I'm doing things differently. I am going to use that torque wrench I showed you to back these guys out. I went through a few, I'm no mechanic anymore. I went through a few sockets, got it down to 13 millimeter, which, you know, kind of makes sense. So we're going to reverse the ratchet, and we're going to average out the torque ratings on these to find the right torque setting, because I couldn't find any torque numbers on this, and it's not gonna fit. So let's see if we can do this. Well, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. There, it fits on this one. Okay, and we are set at, ooh, these are loose. Okay, let's see. No, that's not loose. Okay. I'm not looking at the numbers because they're facing down. There it was. Very, very loose. That was only 8 pounds. 8 pounds of torque. That's not right. That's probably not good. Let's see what we got over here on this side. Get it on there first. There, it's on. Now, I seriously doubt 8 pounds of torque is what it's for. There it goes. Yeah, still only 8 pounds of torque. So we're going to take it up to 10 pounds and see what it feels like, and to go from there. Remember to loosen these guys first. This is your last one back here in the back, because that turns everything loose. We're going to raise the motor up a little bit so it doesn't just slide right off onto the ground, and then we'll get after it. So as you're loosening these guys up, make sure you kind of loosen them in unison, because you don't want to put too much bind on the remaining bolts in here. If you do, then you'll have more trouble getting them out than it's worth. So these are all coming out about the same time. You might have to lift up on it to stop the binding. These bolts, the 4 are the same length. The 5th one is longer in the back. It goes deeper into the housing. So get these out, take a look at them, make sure they're good. They have some oxidization on them. I don't think that's lubrication. I think that's oxidizing from salt. So we'll keep that in mind. These are coming out nice now. The main thing is, you know, you don't want to drop the unit, right? If you drop it, you might cut off a toe, or more importantly, who cares about your toe? You might damage the lower unit or the prop. And I've got a very nice prop on here that a friend of mine gave me when I first got the boat. It's a really good stainless steel prop. It makes it run quieter, and it's much more balanced and smooth than the stock prop. That's one of the first things you're going to want to change if you can afford it. In Texas, and get you a stainless prop. That'll get you up fast. So you'll lose high-end speed, but you'll be able to get on plane fast enough for the shallow waters of Texas. There's number 3, and I think this is the tightest one back here. Yeah, this one's got all the binding on it now, so I got to be careful, because the only thing holding it now will be the one that I have not loosened at all yet, back over here. And I'm probably going to try torquing that one just to see, because some of these were tighter than others, and I think it's more like 30 pounds than it is 10. 10 doesn't make any sense to me. And I'll show you how they're going back on once we get everything replaced and back into business. Let me say again, this is a 30 horsepower Mercury 2015, and I emulated the video that's down in the description for the actual mechanics of getting this done. And as you saw a minute ago, I figured out how to get that pin out without beating on it, but you better make sure that you got it covered up so it doesn't fly 15 feet. It flew 10 feet on me, almost a new world record, but not quite. And if you watch that second video, he warns about the pin flying away, and it sure did. This one's hard to get off. It's got a bind on it. but it's stainless steel. So here's your first hint about Tef-Gel. These are stainless steel bolts going into cast metal. Do you know what happens when two metals combine in salt water? Or any kind of situation really, but moisture situations. Well, what happens is electrolysis. There's an electrical charge that passes between two different metals. There's that one. That one's a little more pitted, but it's got, I don't think that's lube. But it's got some oil in it. So that's a problem. That's a problem I've had and nobody's been able to tell me how to fix. Is my slow oil leak. Nobody's helped me with that yet. That's too big. Let's see here. Ooh, there it goes. All right, guys, we're on the home stretch. This is the last bolt. You can see that the lower unit is separating now from the middle. I guess you call it the middle unit. This screw, this bolt, is going to have to be wrenched the whole way because it's carrying all the load now. I can do this and get the load off of it. It doesn't feel like it's going to be too heavy, but it's pretty heavy. Awkward. So what we're going to do when we take it off, you have to excuse my voice, I'm leaning over, is take it and set it in this bucket over here so that we can work on it. And you got to take care not to break, bend, or otherwise damage anything any worse than I already have. I could probably, there we go. This is going to be interesting, people. I hope the disaster isn't down and below because, like I said, I've had an oil leak and it may manifest itself in this little move I'm making right now. Just not going to be able to twist it with my fingers. I need to ratchet it. Oh, there it is. There it is. It's coming out now. Like I said, this is a long one. I felt it go loose. Try not to bend anything coming out. There it is, right there. It is not heavy at all, people. It is not heavy. Set it right over here. That, and we're on to the next phase. Wow, how was that, huh? All right, guys, let me run you through this real quick. Let me get my pointer out. This is the drive shaft. Based on, and you can't see it because I'm too focused down here. I'll tell you about that in a minute. These have to come off right here. Inside here, the impeller, the cup, and the gaskets. So I'm going to torque one more time to see what the torque numbers are on this because this is made of plastic. I can tell you that by looking at what I've got here, that I think I found the problem with my slow oil leak. And let me just see if I can pan it. Let me just raise and I'll show you what that problem is. Okay, so hopefully it'll focus right here and it'll show you what the problem is. If you look at this shaft, it's got some burn marks on it right here. That tells me that this seal that this goes through, or whatever it's doing up there, I don't know what it looks like. It's got scratches going around this way. Whatever's going on with that little oil leak, I think it's running down here, and then it runs through the lower. It's motor oil. It's not it's not transmission or whatever you want to call it, lower unit oil. It's coming from the top, and by the discoloration, I can tell it's getting hot, and by the scratches, I can tell it's worn out. But I'm probably not going up there, so we'll let that ride. Keep adding oil as we go. It's time to to finish this job. Okay guys, once again I've decided to take on the torque wrench so that I can get an idea, because I still didn't get any torque numbers for the housing that houses the impeller. Let's see where we are here. Oh man, that's pretty soft. That didn't even click at 8 pounds. You gotta remember the housing, that's about 10 pounds. Gotta remember the housing's made of a hardened plastic, probably chemical resistant. That was not even 5 pounds. So we're at the 10-pound range for this guy. Got a little tightness right there, it doesn't matter. I got my torque numbers for the housing. We're gonna go with 10 pounds. So all we're doing now, we're having to take these off. They're pretty deeply threaded in there, so that makes sense because how important your water pump is. It's important stuff, people. All right, people, we're down to the last bolt. I'm telling you, these guys are fine thread long ones because, and what did I tell you what size they were? 10 millimeter. Tiny, but it's a tiny motor. It's only 30 horsepower. So anyway, I can see the oil fill is right over here. It looks like it's in good shape. Looks like it's in good shape on the inside, really. Really in good shape. I don't see any visible problems. I told you about the oil leak. I know where that's coming from now. I'm gonna have to take it in to get that done probably, because I cannot imagine myself reaching up there, unless I can change that seal from the power head compartment, which is, I haven't looked, so I don't know. So I didn't know what the problem was. All right, got it. Here we go, people. Off comes the housing, like that. Ooh, baby, I can tell you this needed changing. There we go. Now this comes off. And the impeller's coming with it. And that key is on the back side, and that key looks fairly worn down. So we'll replace the key too. Oh boy. Thank you, Jesus, for letting me get this done. See, it's taking the shape of the bend. However, that impeller is in very, very good shape for its age. So it's done really well. It doesn't show much signs of wear except in here in what's a brass. I think it's a brass sleeve right there. You can see everything looks good right here. Now we've got to go in and we've got to actually clean off this old gasket. Look at that, it's going to come off like that. And we're going to take all that off, put the new stuff on, replace the housing, the impeller, and the gaskets, and the pin, the cotter pin, or whatever you want to call it. And we'll be done. Put it back together, and I'll show you some tricks on putting. There's a little bit of corrosion in there. There's a little bit. Take a brass brush and get it in here. Start cleaning it up. Take a some kind of blade, get it on here. Try to get that all done. That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, let's get her done, people. Okay, guys, what you got to do on this this darn gasket here, it basically is bonded by those synthetic pieces above and below. The top bond comes off pretty easily because of the weight of the motor, whatever. I mean, the weight of the lower unit when you drop the unit. But this one was bonded on there really nice and tight with that synthetic. So we get that off and out of the way like that. And now I see corrosion. Pretty good corrosion there. Pretty good rust. Okay, that's annoying. So what I'm going to do, this housing is probably, I don't know what it's made out of. It looks steel. I mean, just this, it looks like not a housing, but actually just like a lip that goes around here. Probably replaceable. I'm not sure what it's made out of. We're going to use a brush that's made out of brass, so we're sure we're not doing anything harmful to the actual surface. And then we got to get in here and clean all this up. So that's going to take a while just to get all that old gasket off of there. Make sure you cover this hole right here. Just for grins, cover it up. Stick a rag in there, and that way debris doesn't go down in there. But it's going to take a little while to get this all cleaned off, for sure. But you got to do it. You got to do it right, or why do it at all? All right, guys, you can call me anal if you want, but I'm going to go ahead and vacuum all that gasket material out of there. Hit it one time with super fine sandpaper, and then we're ready to put it all back together again. And there are some details that I forgot as far as reassembly that I'm going to have to deal with, but I don't want all this stuff floating around. That might do the job. I'm going to sand, just put a superfine 600 on here and sand it just a little bit, and then we're going to put it all back together again. Alright guys, it's time to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Let's see if we don't make some kind of mistake. Like I said, we're going to sandwich the gasket. It's going to get sandwiched like this with the, going to go like this. There's our sandwich. That's interesting. So there's that. And trying to figure out, that went like that, so it's got to go like this. So it's all sandwiched on there with a stainless piece in the middle. And this is how it has to go, because it has guide holes right here and here. So there's no choice in the matter. This is the way it goes on, just like that. For me, I'm going to try something a little different here. I'm going to use some food grade silicone just to make things happier. And I'm going to use my grease right up in here just to make it all slide on nicely. Just a little bit now. Ouch, yeah. Yeah, just like that. That'll make everything, get it off to a good start, you know, which I like. There's that. Okay, now the pin. New pin, because that other one was worn out, so we got to put the new pin on, which is not a big deal. Cotter key, a key, whatever you want to call it, you know. That goes right. Let me get this out of the way so we can see what's going on here. That goes right here, and it doesn't fit. It does not seem to want to go on. I may have to help it go on. That's kind of interesting. There it is. You got to take it in one end at a time. Shoot the moon, baby. Shoot the moon. Here we go. Just like. It's not sticking very well. Tell you what we can do to make it stick. Let's pause for a minute. We're going to add a little bit of marine grade grease to this. Now, by doing that, I should be able to get that pin to stick in there, just like that. Yeah, that's a little better. Like that. Okay. Now we got this going down and onto the pin like this. There we go, just like that. Holes are all still lined up. No adhesives on there, no kinds of lubricants on there at all. I might want to shoot the base just a little bit, just because I hate getting off to a dry start. There we go. Okay. That does not move. So now what we have to do is we come back here, and as I recall, this guy goes down over like this. we're gonna just ease it on there like this. Yep. So now we're down past the rubber. We're off, trying to stay off the gasket right there. It's not doing it too well. It may be a bit shafty shaft. All right, let's see if that works like that. Now that. Now you'll see that this goes right here and that goes right there. That's what holds that into place. So we're on the home stretch, except that it's backwards. So it goes this way, like that right there. And that let that gasket turn better. So this may not be perfectly round, but you see in there, do you see that right there? That's got to go right over here on. So we're on now. Okay. So what I want to do is go right up here and grease the spline. We've got this on. We're good. Okay. Facing the right direction. This is still in pretty good shape right here. We know that we're going 20 on the torque right here. Here's the next secret for you guys right here. The other thing that wasn't on these other guys' videos, that's on my video, is we are going to set these back in here. Because they're different materials, we're going to set these back in here with a dab of Tef-Gel. So Tef-Gel, if you don't know what it is, look it up. This stuff is awesome. A friend of mine turned me on to it. And this stuff makes all the difference in your bolts and being able to get them out again. See those mosquitoes landing? It's getting mosquito busy around here. All right, here we go. And then we'll go up to the top. We're gonna go 20 pounds. Yeah, yeesh. We're gonna go 15 pounds on this because it's plastic. We'll go 20. We're gonna go 30 pounds on the outer housing of torque. So that's what we're going to do for our torquing, and as opposed to what these videos show, which is nothing about torque, and I've not found anything about torque on the any videos or any website about what our torque settings are. But we're on our way to putting this water pump back together on this 30 horsepower Mercury Tohatsu. Good deal. All right, we're on our way. Let's get her going. Now when you tighten these down, I'm not a genius. Go ahead and star pattern tighten them just like you do the lug nuts. Just go this way, and that'll get you going. There's the, feels a lot better going on than it did coming off. It seemed really dry coming off. This Tef-Gel is here for one reason, and that is to prevent electrolysis. Is that what it's called? I think it's called electrolysis, where two metals interact with each other and it really speeds up the corrosion. So these are steel. They might be stainless. I kind of feel like aluminum. It's kind of weird, but they definitely are different from what they're going into in the housing. And that housing is actually steel. That's what I was cleaning up and spending a lot of time on, was the housing. And now, man, the mosquitoes are flying at me. Whew, welcome to Texas, man. Mosquito. Here we go. That one's on. So now, here we go. We'll take this off. I don't need that right now. Maybe they're hearing my stomach growl. Whew, been working on this for hours and hours and hours. The only thing that I see, I did not see or recall any grease being put on that shaft down low. And I didn't see any coming off either. So that means there probably wasn't any. Cross over, like I said, do what I say, not what I do. Alright, we'll come back in a minute. Show you the greasing of the splines up here. And then we're going to put this baby back together and we're done. What took the most time on this project was cleaning off the old gasket. And that is kind of surprising to me after all the time I've hesitated on this. To get down to something like that, it's kind of goofy. But that's me, I'm kind of goofy. Hope you guys understand what's going on here. This is still holding me in the right position over here on my linkage. I cleaned this up some. It looks like I'm getting some heat up there. I don't know, like I said, I think I actually have a bad seal at the top. But there's no way for me to know because I'm not a genius like some people who think they are, who live on the Texas coast. Anyway, having fun now. That's down. That one's down. This one's almost down. I think the way they create that gasket is just really kind of like for someone as dumb as me, because when you got stainless steel sandwiched between two pieces of fiber, that's a pretty good gasket, people. That's like a head gasket almost. Old head gaskets on V8s like I used to do when I knew what I was doing. Okay, we're about to torque time. All right, guys, we got to remember that the last bolt off is the first bolt on, and that's going to be this bolt back here. And what I'm doing that's different, again, is Tef-Gel. And it's very, very important on this particular set of bolts because they're definitely mismatched metals. And I can see that they're starting to, what is it, hydrolyze or whatever it is. They're starting to do electrolysis, and that's a problem. So Tef-Gel it, and then put that in position. We've got a lot of things to position on this particular situation, and we've got to position the shaft, we've got to position the shifter right here, and make it all go together. I've greased the shaft, greased the spline, and we're ready to accept the challenge. Okie dokie, glad this thing isn't heavy. My old man strength is going away. Here we go. Come on there. Okay, uppity daisy. Hope I don't break anything on the way in. There we go. Just like that. There it is. Hold it up like that, just so the threads match. And they're not matching up. There it is, right there. Trying to find it. Well, interesting. Not finding it too well. Let's see here. Well, there's enough play in this that, there we go, I can see it now. There it is. Now it's getting a little hard on me. All right. You can tell the ship's going down, can't you? That's some kind of emergency, I'm sure. Always an emergency. All right, let's take a break. I gotta answer that call because it's definitely an emergency. Okie dokie. Okay guys, we're gonna Tef-Gel the rest of these and put them in. Nothing like a good emergency on a Saturday afternoon. That was an emergency. Let's go. My linkage is good, even though I wasn't even looking at it. So now, we're gonna go to the front to try and keep the bind off. Yeah, that works. Kinda. Another thing about using Tef-Gel, makes the turn a lot easier, if you know what I mean. Alright, so I do believe that's stainless. And now it's been treated so that it will not corrode inside the threads or on the actual surfaces, which are exposed to salt water here in Texas, of course, with luck. And then what we're going to do is we're going to torque it down to 30 and fire it up. Make sure that we got it right. Okie dokie. It's a deep socket. I don't have a shallow, so we're going to have to go with the 14 wrench. And that is a big problem to me because I really want these to be torqued, but I've never seen them torqued. I've never had torque numbers. Should be torqued to 30. So what I'll do is I'll find my shallow socket someday soon, torque all this down to 30. I'm not going to go crazy yet because I want to be able to get the others in with a little bit of play so that if I need to play, I've got it. Okay. You see the routine, folks. This is how it goes. Hope you enjoyed this video. We're not quite done yet, but we're pretty close. I've got to figure out how to get this pin back in here without shooting it across the parking lot. We'll see if I can figure that out next. Okay, the only thing left to do on the finishing touch of this, the 30 horsepower Mercury Tohatsu replacement of my water pump, which is the impeller. And you saw how that was done. Now I have to figure out how to get that pin back in this housing. And you know what? That's gonna be a bit of a challenge, people. But I'm always up for a good challenge. Let's see if we can make it happen. Back that off just a little bit. A little bit binded, a little bit bound up there. There's the deal. Now, find that little bitty pin, wherever it is, what I did with it. There it is. This was the crux of all my hesitation to do this job, is this little pin right here. Because the video that I watched freaked me out when I saw what this guy did to get that pin out. And you saw what I did. It was almost as bad because that pin flew 10 feet. Maybe there's an instant replay out there that somebody can run. I'm gonna put Tef-Gel on this too. I just don't get the impression it's stainless. All right, we're gonna put it in there. And then I'm gonna try and see. Try these and see if that'll squeeze it in there. Let's see what'll happen. Yep, it worked. People, I'm just trying to do things in a way that don't freak me out. And that didn't freak me out at all. That's done. That pin is back in there. It's lubricated. Linkage is done. No interference with any of the fluids in the lower unit. It's totally contained. Did not leak. Does not come out when you take this off. Now we're gonna figure out a way I might just drop in a bucket of water and start it up. I think my battery's dead. You may have to wait a little while for that. But at the very end, coming soon, I'm gonna start it up. And be sure to go down and like and subscribe. Also, if you will, check the description out for all the links to all the things you found here. I think that regardless of how that pin flew away, compared to the other video that I saw, what I did was much better. The way I would do it differently is go ahead and cover this up and fire the palm nailer, the hand nailer, and that would stop that pin from flying 10 feet the other direction. All right, guys, does that make sense? I hope it does. If it doesn't make sense, I'm sorry. But anyway, it took me a long time to get this to where I had the courage to do it. And I got it done. Let's get the battery charged. Let's get it wet. And next week we're going out. And outboard motor owners, this is the moment of truth. This is what we've been waiting for. See if I can remember how to start this baby up after so much time off. Whew. Let's give it a go, huh? Let's give it a go now. Woo. There we go. So that's really good pressure. That's really good pressure right away. Better than it had before, by far. Much, much better. Much better. I'm very happy. Probably the reason that one seal went out is because I had less water pressure, and with less water pressure, things get hotter in the motor without overheating the motor itself. That is the way it's supposed to look right there. That's amazingly great. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. And like and subscribe. Come on now. We made it work, didn't we?